So this is 2.6 or 5.6, reversible in reactions and industrial processes. So what is a reversible reaction? It's a reaction that can go forwards or backwards, and it's often indicated by that sign, okay, as opposed to just the arrow going forwards, okay. So then you have to be able to explain and describe the sulfuric acid process making for sulfuric acid and process of making ammonia. Okay, so the Haber process comes in kind of like 4 or 5 steps. So nitrogen and hydrogen are pumped in through pipes. The pressure is 200 atmospheres and it's heated to about 450 using an iron catalyst. You need to make sure you remember them 3 conditions. The reaction mixture is then cooled, ammonia liquefies and can be removed, then uncycled nitrogen and hydrogen are then put back to the beginning to make more ammonia. Okay, this comes with like some compromise conditions. Okay, so compromise conditions are chosen because they're a good compromise between yield, how much you're going to make, the rate, how quickly it happens, and how much it's going to cost. Okay, so compromise conditions for this are 450. It's low enough to achieve an acceptable yield, but high enough to do it in an acceptable time. Okay, you'd want something actually higher, but the yield, the cost and the time way out. Again, the 200 atmospheres is chosen because it's low enough to keep costs down but high enough to achieve an acceptable yield. Iron is a cheap catalyst used in the Haber process to achieve acceptable yield and acceptable time. Okay, how do you test for ammonia gas? Damp red litmus paper turns blue. How do you test for ammonia salts? Okay, so add NaOH, sodium hydroxide, and heat. Again, the ammonia gas will be given off and damp red litmus paper will turn blue. A lot of ammonia then is used in fertilisers, so we're using artificial fertilisers, so synthetic material used to increase plant growth. How they produce from ammonia salts, the same as making any salt that you would have done in 5.2. Advantages: increase crop yield and increase crop growth and soil quality. Disadvantage: increase soil acidity and eutrophication when fertilisers block off algae on the top of the lake, so anything below can't get any sun. Okay. The other process then you need to know about is the contact process. There's a nice diagram there. Again, conditions you need vanadium catalyst, 450 degrees and 1 to 2 atmospheres of pressure, so it's low atmospheres of pressure. So, a bit of a weird process. So sulfuric acid is mixed with dry air, okay, which is O2, pumped in. So you make sulfur dioxide, then more oxygen pumped in, and that makes sulfur trioxide. Okay, then you have to add concentrated sulfuric acid, which you can see happening there, okay, to make sulfuric acid, which makes this oleum. Then add water and you make the sulfuric acid. Okay, the thing with this is if you just went straight from the sulfur trioxide plus water to make sulfuric acid, it would explode. So you have to make this oleum to make sure there's no explosions. Okay, and we've talked about this. Sulfur trioxide is explosive water, so dissolve with sulfuric acid first, which I know is a bit weird because you're using sulfuric acid to make sulfuric acid, but that's just how it works. Okay, uses of sulfuric acid: paints, dyes, plastics, and then there's 2 types of dehydration that you need to know because sulfuric acid is a really good dehydrator, removes water from situations. The one is when you've got copper sulfate crystals, add sulfuric acid, it'll turn really like flaky and go blue, so go from blue to white. The other one is then adding it to sugar, it'll take away all the water and it's kind of like a really brown, like hard liquid if you take away all the water from sugar. So they're the 2 you need to know about.